Our next topic is Star Citizen Weekly. Star Citizen News Weekly. Right off the bat, I want to give a huge salute and a hello to Disco Lando, Jared Huckabee, who reached out to us very awesomely on our last episode and said, hey, keep watching and thumbs up and whatever and kissy face or whatever. Like, that's awesome. Like, I love that guy. That guy is awesome, and the fact that he reached out was very nice. Um, the Black Sky Legion has been created in Star Citizen. So if you go to the search for organizations, our code is BSL1 in Star Citizen, just the same way as it is in Elite Dangerous. BSL1 is the Black Sky Legion, and you can join our org. You are able to join. So an org is like a squadron in Star Citizen, a squadron in Elite for Star Citizen, except that you can be a member of multiple orgs. You can only have one primary org, but you can have many secondary orgs. So even if you are in sort of, this one or that one as your primary org, you can still join our little community and have a joint chat channel and hang out with us and whatnot. And we're going to have events, and we're getting set up. We're getting started. We just started this 2 days ago, and we've got whatever, it's like 18, 20 people. What are just getting started, but it's going to grow. It's going to go well. I am actually going to turn over to Tweaked for a moment, and then anybody can hop in on that. He wants to just gush on Star Citizen for a minute or two. So you guys just express yourself a little bit, and then we'll get to sort of the rest of the topics.
Yeah, I just want to say, when I started with Elite Dangerous, I dove into all of the media that I could, the YouTube videos, the tutorials, the lore, all of that kind of stuff. And I've started to do the same thing with Star Citizen. And there hasn't been a day that goes by, a video that I watch, that something doesn't blow my mind. Right from walking around your ship's interiors while you're flying, you get out of the cockpit and walk around and go back and play chess. And the interior of the Mercury Star Runner looks like the Millennium Falcon. You've got secret smuggling compartments. You've got a kitchen. You got a chess table to play with. So many cool things. Katie, you told a story the other night about somebody EVA-ing out of a ship, going over to another ship, gaining access, and then proceeding to dismantle everybody in that ship and steal it. The scope of this game is mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. Just starting the game, and mind you, I haven't yet. I will in a few weeks, but I've got a couple of friends from OPIX that started tonight, actually. And they said the same thing, starting the game and walking around the spaceport, taking the train to get to the spaceport. This game is on a scope that I've never seen yet. The death of a spaceman that they're implementing, the medical gameplay that they're implementing soon, where you no longer will die right away. You'll be like bleeding out, and you have time where a friend can come and possibly save you. So there'll be room for people role playing that. People that like to play medic in games will have a role now. Ships can be in Elite. We've wanted multiplayer ships for so long. You have ships in Elite where not only do you have a co-pilot that actually helps do things, like legit things, and I think Katie can talk more about that, but there's turrets, like you're in the Millennium Falcon and Luke went up in the turret to knock out the TIE fighters in A New Hope. All of that kind of stuff is in this game already, and it's blowing my mind. The graphics look amazing. I never get sick of watching the ramp drop and somebody walk down and set foot onto a planet. I haven't been this excited for a game in a long, long time, and I cannot wait to get into this galaxy. It's something special. If they can do everything that they are trying to do, this game is going to be unmatched. It's a scope I've never seen before.
Yeah, just to elaborate on what you just said then, one of my patrons was sharing his screen on the Skunkworks Discord the other day, and he was using, Altair, if you're listening, you're amazing. He was using a stealth bomber to get very, very close to a hammerhead, which is like a giant multi-crew ship with turrets all over it. And then he EVA'd out of the stealth bomber, because obviously being a stealth bomber, it was able to get close without being detected. And he showed us how you can get over to a larger ship like that. And the hammerhead has doors behind the turrets that will open if you're near enough. And using the EVA thrusters and tractor beam, he was able to get close to it and hook onto it with the tractor beam and maneuver around. And just think about that. Just think that you could very easily be the kind of player in Star Citizen that will solo sneak up to these large ships, sneak aboard, eliminate the crew, and claim that ship for yourself. Just think about that. It's incredible. And yes, there are bugs in Star Citizen. You've got to be in its current state. You've got to be prepared to shrug off bugs. I've documented a few of them in my videos because I will not, as much as some of the forum would disagree with me, I will not present things in a pure, in a one-sided way. I will show where there are bugs. AI, for example, standing on tables, standing on chairs, that's very common at the minute. Deaths from weird things like falling through the floor happen sometimes, exploding vehicles. One that always gets me at the minute is with my beloved Cutlass, is the back ramp breaks very often.
If you lower that anywhere where there is a rock or something where the ground's not entirely flat, it will sometimes work perfectly fine, and other times it'll start bouncing. And I've had that back ramp flip my rock onto its side, and boy, is that a pain in the balls.
It has to land on pillows. You have to set it down on a pillow.
Yep.
The trick is to always go out through the side door and in through the back door. That's the trick with the Cutlass.
There you go. I actually got pretty good of what I would do is this. I would land, drop the back ramp, and if it landed, like, you can use the camera, the external camera mode, zoom around the back and zoom in, and if you can see that it's on a rock where it's not flat or not right, I would leave the back ramp open, take off again, so I would never get out of the cockpit, take off and fly, like move it 5 feet forward or back or whatever, and then drop again. And what happens a lot of time then is it'll glitch where the ramp goes through the ground, like the ramp is through the ground. At that point, it works perfectly as if it was no problem.
Because I've noticed, actually, just to add to what you've said, that the point at which the ramps glitch is not when it's when you step on them and you get that spark, the sudden spark. You'll see,
and
that
more so than just when you set foot on them, way more so when you set wheel on them. If you put a rock wheel on it, that at that point where you get a spark when you stand on it, what it does is it tries to flip your little rock like a pancake, and that sucks. Yeah. Chig, you were up with a thing.
Yeah, well, other than Tweak, who hasn't played it, he's only been able to watch videos. I'm obviously the newest to Star Citizen, just, I don't know, maybe 3 hours total gameplay. So, and that includes doing key bindings and stuff. It's the scope of it is phenomenal. I just see so much potential with it. It is a hell of a game, and the flight model's pretty fun, and the combat. I mean, me and Dubs just started shooting at each other just to see how that would go, and we couldn't figure out how to launch missiles, and it was newbie stuff we were doing. The only thing I would tell people is just, it's not just the bugs, it's also performance. I mean, the game, I run a 2080, so I'm not a potato by any means, but I mean, the game struggles to run over 30, 40, sometimes I might reach 50 FPS. In space, it's better, same as Odyssey. You have that issue, and then, oh my God, the creepiness of all the people standing on benches is just crazy. Or you have somebody standing inside somebody else, and then their head turns, and their nose is coming out the side of the face. There's so many bizarre things. So just, you go into it understanding that, and you're fine. And as I said earlier, they make you acknowledge that every time you log on. You acknowledge that, yes, this game is in alpha and they're coming on, but the potential is it makes me sad that Odyssey is what it is, because I see what it could be.
I need to correct you there, Chig. No one has the problem with the FPS and the whatever. That's a thing. Yeah, bugs, whatever. That's, yes, that happens. The head turning within a head and looking right at you. That is not a bug, man. That is literally some evil juju coming for your soul when you go to bed tonight. So watch yourself.
Well, I'd agree with that, but I don't have a soul. We've been over this, so it can't be that.
That's fair. In the place of where your soul should be, there's just a little piece of cheese.
Yep, he's got a big piece of cheese, mind you. All right.
Wolf.
Yeah, I'm half ginger because of the red beard, and that skeezes the shit out of me to hear. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. That's all I had.
And all right, so let's pick this back up with the rest of the Star Citizen news. So let's talk about patch 3.14. It moved this week from Evocati to PTU Wave 1. I want to make sure I get that correctly. It is PTU, but it's PTU Wave 1, which is just certain people, like the larger backers and the subscribers and whatnot. But it's not covered by NDA anymore. So when it was Evocati, it was covered by NDA. Now it's not. So you can go out there and Google and you can see amazing footage of people running around and playing, as we have in the Elite Week Discord in the Star Citizen channel. Tons of video of people running around and playing, and they're hanging out in Cloud City and they're doing all this stuff. It is awesome. Let me run down, just for people who might say like, oh, okay, yeah, you get a gas cloud giant and a city. What else is in there? Well, I'm glad you asked. So we got the gas giant planet Crusader. We've got Vespin City, the cloud city, which is in this game. It's called Orison. And I love that they said on the thing, they're like, yeah, we for sure were inspired by Vespin. It's awesome. Yeah. And it's like, yes. Absolutely. In addition to that, in patch 3.14, Power Management version 2 and Ship Combat Overhaul Rebalance. So a lot of the stuff with the ships has been overhauled and rebalanced. The idea that they wanted to sort of make ships combat a little more fair. I like that fact that they're seeing how it progresses, how this ship has these characteristics and that, and they're doing little tweaks and stuff. It's a thing that they do in EVE all the time, where they're constantly doing overhauls and rebalances on their ships, and I kind of love that. It's a sign of a living game. I think the FDL is a great ship. I don't think it should be the only sort of meta whatever. I think it's neat if little changes happen here and there. And the implementation of Power Management V2, basically what they're getting is a thing that is sort of similar to PIPs. There's a thing where you have your power and your sort of main attributes of your ship, but you can also through I forget the name of it, but there's a module on the ship where you can sort of boost and sort of put a little bit of your extra power towards cooling for your weapons, or towards like maneuverability of your ship, or towards your shields or whatnot. In addition to that, they've got the missile guidance and control system is getting a rework. They're converting missiles to use the IFCS guidance and control systems, and they've added in the missile operator mode. So what that comes down to is, for single players who play, you fly in a ship solo, okay, you have the abilities you had before. You have more abilities that you can toggle over from your gun mode to your missile operator mode, and you can do different stuff. And that's a thing, but it is even more so of a buff or a boon or whatever to people that work in teams. So if I fly with Katie, and Katie is the pilot and I am the Wizzo, I'm the weapon systems operator, and something's coming in, Katie can do her stuff on the guns, and I can switch over to missile mode and take control of that, and gives me much more abilities to, like, it makes the missiles more valuable. It takes more work and effort to do it, but you can make them more valuable and make that whole aspect of gameplay more rewarding. So in addition to just tweaking that weapon system in and of itself, it brings more refinement and positivity and purpose to having multi-crewed ships. I am a huge fan of that idea. I like the idea of, hey man, my ship with 4 people can do more than your ship with 1 person because we're a team and we're working together. I think that's beautiful. They added in the law system version 2, which has surrender stuff in it. That doesn't seem like a huge deal right now because it's like, okay, if you shoot me and I die, I wake up in prison, or if I surrender and you catch me, I wake up in prison. Where that's going to be important is in the future, because when they have this death of a spaceman stuff, it's going to be a situation where you don't want to die because then you're going to be in a clone that's going to have some, a janky arm or some messed up shit. You'd rather just be like, all right, you arrest me, I'll do my time, and then I'll come out with all of my fingers and toes working as they do now. That's cool. They did a thing where they have canvas sliced ship HUDs. What this means is, unlike a lot of video games, most video games, in fact, pretty much maybe all video games, where the HUD is just one piece and it's like, okay, this is an art asset. It's one piece and it's there. And so it's kind of like paint a picture of a HUD and that's the HUD. They're not doing that in Star Citizen. They're having this as sliced up individual pieces where like the buttons work. You flip over and you flip the switch for this and like, okay, this one puts your landing gear down. This one is to call the radio system. And by doing this, instead of having just one picture of your HUD that's like a painting, it's a fake, it's fake. They're doing it honestly, where it's a bunch of different subcomponents so that Crusader ships could be different from RSI ships. And the Cutlass from Drake, the Cuddy Black. So a Drake ship can be different than a Crusader ship. Like each ship is going to have its own sort of like theme, or like the way that their controls are set up. But also, you could be in 2 different Drake ships. You could be in 3 different Drake ships. You can be in a Cuddy Black, a Cuddy Red, or a Cuddy Blue. Cuddy Black is like combat and general purpose ship. Cuddy Blue is the I forget. The red is the hospital one. It's the one that has medical stuff gameplay to it. And the blue is the one that has police. Or maybe I'm getting that. Whatever. One of them is combat and general piracy shit. One of them is police. And one of them is... And the police one has like a little jail cell or whatever. And the other one is medical. But each of those 3 ships, even being from the same manufacturer, can have different aspects to how they're set up. Because it's they're setting their stuff up to be modular. And I dig the idea of that. They're also adding in revised ship model, the RSI Constellation Taurus. So the Connie, the Constellation, is a ship that's in the game, but the Connie Taurus, it's a variant model. It is new to the game. Yes, Tweak, it does have a jail cell in the one that's made for police activities. Yes, you can be Mando. And lastly, they're adding in Planetary Volumetric Clouds version 1, which is, they already have clouds in the game. That's not new. But they're adding in volumetric clouds, where it's not just sort of like an art asset of like, oh, here's a painting in the background of a cloud. But here are actual sort of clouds that have their different densities and have scientific effects. And as you fly through them, they're going to have different sort of, what do you call it? Like aspects of how they affect your ship and whatnot. So the link is in the show notes to all of that. That is the stuff that is coming in 3.14 to us. It is in PTU Wave 1 now. There is no, I want to clarify something, a mistake or maybe a misquote that I made last week. It's not saying, okay, we're getting it in PTU next week and then we're getting it whatever. There's no set time. It's a floating variable time. It's done when it's done. They move it from Evocati to PTU Wave 1 when it's ready, which they deemed that it was ready. Now they'll move it from PTU Wave 1 to PTU General, which means everyone that's a player has access to it. If you log into the PTU, the test universe, and they'll keep it there until it's ready, and then they'll move it to the PU, which is like full launch in the alpha version of the game. So it's like it's in the sort of continuity of the full universe alpha version. But having said that, I will say that it's on average about, maybe you could figure it'll go from PTU Wave 1 to PTU in about 2 weeks, and they already have it in PTU Wave 1, so it's looking pretty good that it's moving along, that it'll be, probably, maybe, whatever, PTU in like another week or so, and then out. Chris Roberts said on that interview that we showed you last week, it'll probably be out, around, 15th of July-ish. It's a ballpark. Don't take that as a lock date. All right, let's go through and see who has what to say about what. We've got Roy first on ship differences. Go.
Yeah, I just wanted to thread on what you were saying about some of the HUD differences, because for folks that are used to Elite, they may not really appreciate how different these ships are on the inside. If you recall on a previous episode, this is going back many weeks, when we were talking about how we'd love to have more ships in Elite, not just, one of the reasons we brought up was how people treat cars in the real world. There's GMC people, there's Mercedes people, there's people that like Subarus or whatever, and a lot of these cars, yes, there's a steering wheel and a pedal, or sometimes 3 pedals. The interiors can be very different, and it's even more so with these ships in Star Citizen, to where even things like the radar might be 2D or 3D, or some ships, some of them are coming from alien sources and have really different setups. It just, the variety is astounding. And the layouts are very different. It actually, you need some orientation to move from one ship to the next to figure out what's going on, and I love it. It really does speak to what we were talking about in that previous episode, about you can really become an aficionado of a certain brand within the game.
Yeah, I am a Crusader fanboy for life. Wolf, you're up.
The HUD differences that Roy was just talking about, that I find that really interesting, because doing what I do, it might be a little while before I come back to a specific aircraft to do certain things, and there's usually a learning curve involved, because something's changed. It's like, oh well, this is sort of the same, but it's totally different. But when I go from one to another, it's like I've got to relearn everything. That's going to add a level of realism that I hadn't thought about, and immersion that's going to be a time sink, and I'm going to like that time sink a lot.
Just to clarify for people who might not know, who might not get it, Wolf is a aircraft engineer in real life. He does stuff for the Navy, the United States Navy. So when he talks about it might be a while till I'm back to an aircraft. He's not saying like I don't play the game for months on end. He's saying he jumps around from one real plane or aircraft to another, and that's a thing. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. Katie, you're up.
Yeah, keeping with the ship HUDs, I want to give a massive shout out to Lady Raincloud. She took me on a mining trip this week to the Aran Halo, which is like the asteroid belt in the Stanton system. And one of the we were doing some cool stuff, breaking up rocks with the ship, then going out and EVAing and mining, doing EVA mining. But one of the things that was really amazing was I was in the co-pilot seat of her ship, and I had access to all of the systems. Like, so she was piloting the ship, but I could, for example, adjust power settings or move shields more to one side or the other, or request landing permission. So you could share the load, and obviously with missile command for co-pilots coming up soon as well. You can, if there is a co-pilot seat in those ships, you can share the load of managing those systems between 2 people, and it is outstanding. Like, the experience of that is amazing.
Well said. I'm going to throw on the screen here for just a second. We have it in the show notes for you to see. Oh, this is the thing that crashed the show when I tried to do this a couple months ago. Let's see if we got it fixed and it works now. Let's see. Monitor 2. Hey, it works now. Okay. Yep. There's monitor 2 right now. You're seeing, this is what the actual roadmap for Star Citizen looks like, and it is this is the one that's coming up for the next, for up till Q1 of 2022. There's an extended roadmap, but this is the one that it's like, hey, this is the stuff that we're working on for like the next 9 months. if you click on any part of this, and it'll be in the show notes, but you can click on locations. Oh, here are these locations. Gameplay stuff. We're adding this, and it's like here are the people, like this team and this team are working on this specific thing. This team, and this team are working on this thing. And these are all committed. This is what is coming committed in Q2 2021. That means this stuff is all, it's locked, it's happening. Then tentative, and then, tentative for, so everything past like the stuff that is right now, we've got it in the actual thing, we're doing it. But this is a roadmap where it shows you, here's a thing, here's how it works, here's this, here's that, here are the teams that are involved with it. The link is in the show notes to that roadmap. Go and take a look at it and look at, oh, we're talking about core tech. What about this? This is the stuff that's coming, Q3 of 2021. And here's the stuff that's coming Q4 of 2021. So I want to point out, and I'm just going to touch on this very briefly, Q3, patch 3.15, this is going to be a biggie. Q3 of every year just about will be a biggie. Q3, there's no date yet locked on when this comes in, but realistically, it's a very good bet that this is going to sort of line up with October 10th-ish. Be out by about then, probably. And that's because October 10th is CitizenCon. CitizenCon, every year they do on the anniversary of the launch of it, and it's October 10th. And normally, this patch, the one that comes for Q3 of the year that lines up with CitizenCon, should be out around CitizenCon, and it should be massive. This is like a big super duper one, and this one has so much cool stuff that's coming. 3.15 is the thing that people are super excited for this year. 3.14 is awesome too with the stuff, but 3.15 is going to be big. And then 3.16 will probably be a little lighter because that one corresponds with like Christmas time, end of the year, and they close down CIG for like 2 weeks at the end of every year to say, okay, go do Christmas, do holidays with your family. Oh, okay, saying FYI, CitizenCon is on October 9th. Okay, my bad. But on that weekend or whatever of the week of. So yes, yeah. So I just want to show people. I love this roadmap. I love the aspect of you can click on it, here are the things that are working, and it is updated in real time. If something moves, like, okay, this issue was here and then it got moved to there, like that, it happens, but you get to see. I just love the what do you call it? The transparency of it.
Granularity of it.
Yeah, I just like being able to see stuff like that. I dig that. It's a thing. So it's in the show notes. Go take a look at it. In addition to that, we've got let's see, Star Citizen monthly report for June 2021 is in the show notes. They give you a breakdown of all of the stuff they were working on. They come up with one sort of towards the end of the month, and they're like, hey, this is what we've done, and they give you details specifically. It's good. Next up, we've got a video, Inside Star Citizen, Life Among the Clouds. I was supposed to edit this and have a nice video, a new video for you guys to see it that would have like lots of stuff. Oh, okay. Don't forget to show the progress view. That is where all the meat really is. Yes, it is. There is tons of stuff in there, and I'm gonna have to we'll get to it next time when we have more time to dig into it, because yeah. So Inside Star Citizen, I was supposed to have this video together, but it's a situation of I was just having too much fun playing No Man's Sky today and didn't get to editing on time. I will have it for you for next week's show, I promise. After that, we've got David Drury. He did a video, To the Moon, a Star Citizen video, 34 minutes long. He talks about starting with Star Citizen a long time ago, getting frustrated and moving on to Elite, playing Elite, the things that he liked about Elite versus Star Citizen, the things that he didn't like about Elite versus Star Citizen, coming back when he was a little frustrated with Odyssey and trying Star Citizen again, and how he sort of rekindled his love affair with Star Citizen, and how he is so amazed with the differences of what Star Citizen is as a project now and how well it's coming together, as opposed to how much it was like a couple of years ago, and just the amazing rate of advancement at which they are going with things, and at which this game is coming together. After that, we've got Down to Earth Astronomy's Beginner's Guide to Star Citizen, 17 minutes long. Phenomenal stuff as always. Love my man Down to Earth. He is good people. Go check out the video. It's in the show notes. In addition to that, we've got from Randomly. The guy's channel is called Randomly. That's the name of his channel. He put out Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen Comparison Number 4 Mining. This guy has a very cool channel that shows like for mining or combat or whatever, he will play, and he doesn't editorialize and give you his opinions. He literally just shows you, here's 10 minutes of this game loop being played in Elite Dangerous, and you know, here's how it works, and this, that, and the other. Here's 10 minutes of this game loop being played in Star Citizen, and here's how it works, and here's whatever. I'm getting all kinds of people saying link the issue tracker, the progress tracker in the notes. Somebody DM me with the link to it. I will put it on the screen, but it's you guys are saying, hey, do this, do that, and it's like, I'm trying to do the show. It's a little complicated. Somebody fucking link me the thing, and I'll throw it on the screen for you guys to see. But
Come on, Kai.
it's like, hey, while you're juggling, fucking go ahead and give us the present tense of all these verbs in Latin while you're riding a unicycle. Like, yo, I'm okay.
Doing a thing.
Yeah. For the discussion topic on, and again, somebody ping me with that, and I will be more than happy to like send me a DM with it, because I literally have 8 windows up. Let's see. For a discussion topic, the transparency in Star Citizen, the fact that they just show you the stuff. It's there's pluses and minuses to it, as far as how do I like, there's some parts of that process which are okay. Here we go. I'm throwing the progress tracker up there for you guys to see, because you guys are all excited for it. So here we go. There's aspects to the transparency that are monitor 2, wrong thing. I'm trying to juggle. Monitor 2. Where the hell is monitor 2? There we go. There is the progress tracker that shows, you know, this team is doing this, and look, you can see all of the different, you know, these are dates. This is, oh, you know, this is working on by this team from this time to this time, this time to this time. It goes into sort of great detail to show you these teams are working on these things. Here's when it starts. This team will work on this thing. Like, so this thing here was being worked on a different team or whatever, and then it got to this point, and now they have these deliverables, these. And it breaks down even further into like a sub list of what are the things, you know, this aspect of this thing, this aspect. It's so much stuff, and it's like, okay, that's crazy detailed. I love it. It's a thing though where what you're gonna have sometimes is people are gonna look at this and say, okay, this thing from week 2 dropped to week 4. I'm not happy. I'm miserable. I'm whatever. And it's like, Okay. Yeah, that's the downside of having transparency. If I give you a detailed list of all the things I'm doing and how I plan to do it, when you're building a thing, sometimes you run into delays and stuff gets moved back by a week or a month or two, or you scrap it all together and say, no, we're not going to do this thing. This thing that we had planned that we told you we were going to give you in September, we're not giving it to you at all in September. We've canceled it. It's not even going to be a thing because this team and this team and this team made this other thing, and now we have the ability to do better than what we had planned, but it's going to take another 3 months because we're now going to, instead of giving you, instead of giving you a Toyota next month, it's now we're giving you a Ferrari, but it's going to take 3 months, but we have the ability to do it now. And as grown-ups, there's times where, you're going to see things, you're going to be like, oh, man, I was looking forward to this next week or next month, and now it's not coming. It's got moved back to 2 months from now or whatever. It got scrapped, and it's getting reworked, and now we're getting a different thing down the line. That can be frustrating sometimes, but if you look at the alternative is you get told nothing and you just have to guess. I would much rather have, warts and all, the Star Citizen idea of a roadmap where I have lots of details, excruciating details, and sometimes it fails, than have a situation where I get told nothing. Let's go around the horde on this one. Let's start with Chig this time.
Oh, I'm a big fan of transparency. The only thing, this will be brief, just I like the idea of keeping things secret if you're going to spring surprises. And Frontier failed so epically with Odyssey, it made my balls hurt. It was, you got to admit, most of us were hoping that there was going to be another ship or an SRV or two or some kind of surprise, because we were told this is a branch off the main trunk. We're way ahead of this. Once the trunk launches, we're going to have stuff. And there was nothing new. And what Star Citizen is doing with transparency and a roadmap and everything else and constantly evolving, especially these games compared to a lot of games, we're all adults and we can handle the truth. Just be honest. Don't hide stuff. Just tell us what's coming. If you're having problems, tell us why you're having problems. You don't have to get into specific details because I'm tech-tarded. I don't need to know that, this line of code doesn't work for whatever reason. Just, hey, we can't do it. We thought we could. We can't. We're going to try to do it later. That kind of stuff. There's no reason to have secrets unless you literally are springing awesome surprises on people. I mean, they could have just as simply sprung a tiny little surprises on us with Odyssey where our module storage went from 120 to 500, and that would have been a great hidden surprise. But do you guys know of any little surprises they had? Why so secretive? I don't know. That's my take.
I think we're seeing this play out in real time between Elite and Star Citizen. I mean, why is it that even if I recall how we've talked in this episode, comparing what's perceived as bugs in Star Citizen versus Elite, why is it that people appear to be tolerant of the same or worse bugs in Star Citizen versus Elite? I think it's because of the transparency. Why it really changes what kind of benefit of the doubt people are willing to extend. If you feel like you have some agency in the process, if you feel like you're being treated as an adult, which has been said, I agree with. It's if it's a weird analogy, but like imagine you're a passenger in a rally race car, and you can either be blindfolded or you could be helping look through the next waypoints on the trip. Like that's. One is terrifying and frustrating, and the other is super exciting, and you get to experience the journey.
Well, to highlight your point, look at how much back in the Adachan days of Alpha 1, remember how much it sucked when you were in a taxi on a 15-minute ride as opposed to it's the same 15 minutes, but when you were flying it yourself, it didn't suck as much. Yep. All right, Tweak, you're up.
Yeah, coming from an Elite Dangerous 4-year career or whatever you want to call it, this is refreshing. I've been watching all the dev diaries, or the calling all devs, or whatever it is Star Citizen calls them. The roadmap, it's pure transparency. And sure, sometimes they miss their target. And yes, there's a lot of bugs and stuff like that. But like Roy said, the transparency where they spell it out to you, what they are trying to do, you see the scope of their vision. You can accept the bugs. You can say, yeah, okay, it's buggy. Odyssey is buggy. Elite on Horizons without Odyssey, even right now, is buggy. I can accept that. The transparency where they spell out what they're trying to do, when they're hoping to do it, who's working on it. It is polar opposite of what FDev has done, and I don't understand that really. It's video game industry. They're not holding military secrets here or anything like that. I think FDev really has it wrong, and these guys at Star Citizen, they're doing it right. They don't have anything to hide. There's no secrecy. It's this is what we're trying to do. It's going to be tough. We're going to give it our best, and they tell you whether it's working. They tell you when it's not working so well. They tell you what they're going to do. It's refreshing as hell for me.
Gotcha. Katie, you're up.
I've said this before that I feel like Frontier in the communication of both upcoming content and even events, it's like they want everything to be the ending of an M. Night Shyamalan movie. You know, they want everything to be a twist and a secret and a surprise, and people don't enjoy that as much as you think they enjoy it. One of our first communications, Kai, me and you sent me some of the dev videos of Star Citizen devs, like talking about the development with AI and other things, and they went into enormous detail, even to the point of explaining things that, like you said, that they're working on that might not work, that they're trying things and they may pan out, they may not. And like Tweaked and Roy have said, it's incredibly refreshing to see that, and knowing that they are going somewhere, knowing that they've got this vision, they're aiming for this vision. It does make you more tolerant of when a bug ruins a mission or gets you killed or something, because they're very, very honest about the state of the game. They fully, like you say, make you acknowledge every time you play, this is an alpha. Like, we're working on this stuff right now. Like, it's playable, but you should expect bugs. And I feel like that makes me certainly a lot more tolerant of the bugs in the game at the minute.
100%. Wolf, take it home, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up saying about the same level, the same things. The major difference that we have between Star Citizen and Elite is the fact that Star Citizen completely is owning up to the fact that they are in a hardcore development cycle and are going to be for quite some time. So there's issues, got it, but here's what we're working on. And that level of here's what we're working on lets us know like what's going on. And that's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
Elite doesn't recognize that they're in a beta right now. And that's being generous. And we don't know what they're working on. And they really need to look around and see what other dev communities are doing in certain situations like the one they're in to keep everyone happy. And I think Star Citizen is batting 1,000, and I think Elite's kind of tripping over their own deck.
Okay. I think we need to figure out a way to relabel the discussion topics to say the salt no, never mind.
I was keeping the salt out of it.
I don't
Just
think
the
that was
facts.
salty.
Just the facts.
Fair. Okay, for me, the discussion topic on the transparency, I think the transparency is good. I dig it. I'm a fan of it. I understand that it comes with some hard feelings sometimes when you don't get what you want, but I would rather be told honestly everything that you're trying, with the understanding of, hey, tick a box right here that says you get that this is just projections and our best guess, right? Because sometimes shit's going to work better than we thought. A lot of times it's going to run over on budget and time, and it's going to be harder than, like, game development by nature. Development. The word development means you're doing something you haven't done before, and you run into roadblocks constantly, always. I don't care if you're building a house, or you're building a subway, or you're building a video game. If it's a big thing with lots of pieces and you're making it for the first time, it's different when you're making Sudafed. Like the first one takes fucking 20 years to do and get and test it with everything and get it past the FDA and whatever, and then you make 10 billion of them like easy. Well, okay, this is the first one. This is the hard one. This is the one that takes time. So I just appreciate the transparency, even when, and I guarantee you, as a backer of this project, as a fan of this project, you're going to hear from me at some point in the next year or so, me being an asshole and going, this got moved. I hate it. I'm angry. Like, yeah, but just say, hey, asshole, remember back when you said you would love it if people would just be honest with you and tell you what's up? Sometimes this happens. Yeah, everybody remind me. Feel free.